And their number 3 guy, well, he's going to be locked up as well because the Lakers wasted very little time getting this deal done to acquire the rights of Walker Kessler, the center of the Utah Jazz. We have traded for Walker Kessler, and we've given up a 2030 first round swap, a 2028 first round swap, 2033 unprotected first round pick, and a 2031 unprotected first round pick. And I know what you're saying. That's a lot of draft picks. And yeah, it is. But you're acquiring one of the best centers in the league and pairing him up as our number 3 guy to pair along Austin Reeves, to pair along Luka Doncic. He's our number 3 guy, and it's going to be a perfect fit for him coming onto the Lakers and fitting himself in that role as our defensive big, that anchor that the Lakers need, the defensive anchor where Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic don't necessarily have to be perfect on defense. Obviously, defense is something that they really, really need to work on if the Lakers are going to be successful going forward, because none of those guys, you wouldn't say that Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves are defensive minded guys. But it's going to help in the backcourt because now we have an anchor in Walker Kessler, and he's going to really clean up a lot of those messes that the backcourt is going to leave at points. Not only that, but he is going to be producing a lot of rebounding. He's a lob threat, a rolling lob threat, and he's someone that doesn't require the offensive touch. He doesn't require the ball in his hands to necessarily get points. He's going to clean up on the defensive rebounds, and he's going to eat up any loose ends that Austin Reeves or Luka Doncic or anybody on this team is going to miss. And so it's going to be huge that Walker Kessler, we have our center of the future now, and it's something that Luka Doncic has asked for, playing with an elite center. And in this league, there's not a whole lot of elite centers in this league anymore, but you can consider Walker Kessler one of them. Losing the draft picks is somewhat a detriment to the Lakers because draft picks, more than any time in the history of the NBA, in the history of the league, draft picks are considered so much of a valuable asset in terms of what teams can offer in terms of trades and flexibility. Having draft picks, and also just the simple fact that if you have draft picks and you select on these guys, you can build a core. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look at the San Antonio Spurs. They're building their core off of selected draft picks, and so fitting into a culture is huge when you can just build upon it every single year. That's not to be forgotten about. But I feel like with the Lakers, yes, they did give up a lot in terms of assets for draft picks, but the Lakers in this league, we've seen it. You can acquire draft picks. Now it's going to be very hard. You're going to have to give up an asset back, but you can get back on track in terms of second round draft picks and having a little bit more collateral in that range. And that's exactly what they did when they have traded, presumably, what was going to be the backup center, DeAndre Ayton. They traded him to the Washington Wizards for forward Jaden Hardy, who averaged 12.6 points and 1.7 rebounds for Washington last season. But more importantly, he can shoot 44% from field goal percentage and 42% from the three-point range. But alongside Hardy, the Lakers are also getting back some draft capital in terms of draft picks. We're getting the 2032 and 2031 second round picks from Washington. So that's going to make up in terms of what the Lakers have lost during this offseason. But the Lakers were far from done in terms of signing free agents, and it all happened so quickly. Onto the guards now. The Lakers have signed backup guard Colin Sexton. They have signed him to a 2-year, $19.2 million deal. So with that, he is going to be our backup point guard in terms of backing up Austin Reeves and sometimes backing up Luka Doncic. And that is not a bad backup to have whatsoever. Colin Sexton, he is a really, really nice addition, and he brings downhill scoring, he brings speed, he brings toughness, and he's going to be a guy that you could plug into the starting lineup at times when guys are hurt or out, whatever the case may be. He's going to be a reliable guard in terms of starting him at the point guard position from time to time during the regular season. Then they signed 3-and-D guy Quentin Grimes. Grimes, last season for the Philadelphia 76ers, averaged 13.4 points per game. And also, he hit 45% from field goal range, 33% from three-point range, hit 84% from his free throws, gathered 3.6 rebounds a game, 3.3 assists per game. So where his real value is going to be on the perimeter defense for the Lakers, trying to lock up as much as possible one of the team's best shooters, and that's going to be Quentin Grimes' real goal for this season. Let's say if he can try and lock up the team's best scorer, I think that's going to go well for the Lakers if he can do so. But catch and shoot spacing, it's going to be critical for him as well. Transition scoring and his athleticism is going to carry the way for him making an impact on this team. And I think it's a really good signing. Now, he's not an all-star type player, but if he can really develop into one of the Lakers' best players in their core for right now, it's going to go a long way for this team and a long way in terms of the impact he's going to have over his career. And then you have a guy that is going to be replacing Rui Hachimura, who, man, Rui Hachimura signed with the LA Clippers, and I couldn't be any sadder about that. But a guy that's going to be replacing Rui Hachimura is going to be Sandro Mamukelashvili. If you just want to say Mamu, that's perfectly fine, and I feel like every Laker fan, everyone going forward for the most part, is going to say Mamu as well, just to shorten that last name. But he is a big wing. He can shoot. He can pass. He's a really versatile guy, so whether you want to start him at the 4 position or play him sometimes at the 5 when Kessler is out, it's going to be a really interesting dynamic in terms of his flexibility and his versatility on this team, and I think JJ Redick is really going to use him in a lot of different spots. But Sandro Mamu, he's going to be a very big difference maker on this team, and if he has a good season, it's going to go a long way for the Lakers this season. And then, just today, the Lakers have announced they have signed Zaire Williams on a 1-year, $3 million contract. He's a former number 10 overall pick, and the Lakers still think that he has some upside to him. He's still in his mid-20s. He's a 6'9 wing, athletic. He's always been a steady hand in terms of his three-point shooting. He's really always, in his 5-year NBA career so far, has for the most part, has shot in the early to mid 30s in terms of 3-point percentage, and so I'm not sure where exactly he's going to fit in the structure of the Lakers core and also the rotation. He's probably going to be an end of the bench type player to start the season, but if injuries start to happen, you could definitely see him in the starting lineup at points, and it's not a bad get if there is going to be injuries at some point in the season, plugging him in wherever you need him. Now,